Hey, Dr. Lindsey and Wendy here. We're going to go through a case today. This is a younger guy that I guess
He is 30 something years old.
his dad had a hair transplant back in the past, plug case, and the dad lives walking distance from our office. And so this fellow stayed with his dad, and we'll go through his case with you. And then luckily he came in, he just walked over every day and got cleaned here. So we've got a little video on how we cleaned him. And then he came back at 3 months, and his shed hadn't really started growing. And then he just walked in unannounced.
That was 8 months. Is he 8 months out?
He's 9 months out.
9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd just gotten back from an overseas trip and just wanted to stop by.
He got engaged.
That's right.
Yes.
And he hasn't fully grown in, but he looks good, and he was all excited. So.
He says that the fiance loves it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
Sure.
always key. You got to keep the wife or the girlfriend or both happy, and the fiance, right?
Well, he did it because of her. She wanted him to do it.
Yeah. And so we'll go through his case, and so let's get right to it. Okay, so here he is, the morning of surgery, and you can see that he has some hair in kind of the central aspect of his middle third of his head, but he wanted this hairline, and this is a hairline that is roughly my hairline. It'll look okay when he's 50, maybe it's a little mature for 30, but when you don't have any hair there, it really will frame your face well. And if you pay close attention, we put a few bumps out in front so that it doesn't look like a hair transplanted hairline. And between those first two lines, we put small holes that get one hair graft put in, and behind that we put little larger grafts, 2 or 3 hairs. So this is roughly 7:30 in the morning, just after he signed his paperwork and just before he gets a Valium. We agree on this line. So then once we take the strip out, which really shouldn't hurt at all, and if you don't believe me, look at any of our other videos where we interview people. Then we turn you over and we numb up the front, and we trim those remaining hairs in the front, because number one, I need to see to make the holes, and then Wendy's got to see to put the hair in.
And then I think it's a win-win situation
I need
for
you to
everybody.
look at the camera.
Okay. I think it's a win-win situation for everybody because you get to see where you put in your slits. I get to see where we're placing the grafts, and the patient can see what it's done, what it has been done.
And those few hairs that he's got in the middle, they're going to fall out anyway. So we might as well just plant right through there so that we have already dealt with this whole frontal third of his head. And lastly, when people don't get trimmed down, if the tech is lucky enough to be able to get them in the holes, which I'm always a skeptic of, and those remaining hairs stick to our newly placed hairs, they just pull them out in the first couple of days, and then you get no results anyway. So there's a way of doing things correctly and a way of doing things incorrectly, and this is our way of doing things correctly, don't you think?
Look, this is our way of doing it. It's a little bit shocking for the patient when we shave, but at the end result, it's worth it.
Right.
Because they have to have to find a way to camouflage it.
And there's ways of doing that. We put a
There's
little
always
topic on it. Yeah.
We had a patient today. He came and put his hair over it. You can't
Yeah.
see anything happen.
Yeah,
But
he's 3 days out. So this is at the end of the case. We've put in roughly 2,500 grafts. And some people ask, what are those white things? And so let me just show you with some scissors. So here's a 2-hair graft, just like a 2-trunked crepe myrtle tree here in Northern Virginia. And you put it in the ground to this level. But there's always a little bit of the root sticking up. And with trees you do that so that you don't rot the root ball. But with people you do that so you don't trap any skin. And no matter what color your skin is, the underneath is always white, and so that white stuff is what sticks up. And the last ones that were put in stick up a little bit more, and then they sink down over the first day or so. And so here he is at day 3, and look how clean that looks. I mean, this kid did a good job cleaning, mainly because he walked over here every day and Wendy cleaned him up. But and he and his fiance and his dad made sure they cleaned the second time a day. But this is what it's supposed to look like. If you get a bunch of crap and junk building up on the grafts, all that happens is that it continues to build up, and eventually the thickness of the crust and its attachment to surrounding hairs becomes stronger than the attachment of the hair into the root, into the skull. or not skull, into the scalp, and the crust starts to break off and it pulls out hairs, and then you have a patch that doesn't have any hairs. So that's why I'm so uptight about the screen.
Yeah, like the patient, when was he? I think it was Monday. The patient from Monday, he said he had 3 previous hair transplants somewhere else. And he says usually by the week 3, he was like scratching it, and he still had scabs in there. And if you're scratching and have scabs there, I'm sure they'll pull some grafts.
And he had seen that. He said nobody had ever told him to clean before. He didn't get done here, but...
and he had 3 hair transplants before he got here.
And he could have done it once and done it right. So this looks great. And here's another view at day 5. And it, again, looks outstanding. And so here's a video of Wendy cleaning him and showing you exactly what we do. This, although we're not using a shower, we're using a spray bottle. This shows you how we like you to clean. And if you have problems and you live locally, just come here and we'll clean it for you. It doesn't cost any extra. I want it to work just as much as you do.
4.
Okay, so now we're day 4. This is a different guy than the other video that I have of cleaning on day 3. This is day 4, but
He's been coming in every day.
Good job. Yeah, we got pictures every day, which is free. We encourage people to live locally to come in here because I want it to work as much as you do, or almost as much as you do, and that is perfect. And if you look and see how much Wendy's rubbing, she's got her hands all lathered up, and she's just rubbing on there.
And you can see some of the dead skin comes up.
Yeah, but there's no bleeding,
Hairs
no hairs are coming out. That looks perfect. And then this would normally just be shower water. It's a bottle of water.
We don't have a shower head.
Yeah. This is day 5. This is we did him on
Friday.
So we'll do this again tomorrow, and then
We can remove the sutures tomorrow. His incision looks perfect.
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine.
So see those little scabies already like softened in right there?
Yeah.
You see that?
That's perfect.
So he's going to put oil. See, they just coming up. They come up. You can't see them. They're dark there.
Yep.
It's just that skin. I told him to put oil tonight. So tomorrow I can do more.
Yeah.
And be done with it.
That's day 6. Just deep stitches underneath, holding it together.
Yeah, you'll see his incision. It's really
6
nice.
days out. We took your stitches out a day early. You come almost every day to get clean. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's still a little bit dry skin up there, so put some, do your shampoo and conditioning tonight and tomorrow. That'll all be gone by the end of the weekend. Let me show the back of your head. You got a pretty short haircut. I hold it up. 6 days out. That's what a trichopitic closure ought to look like. So then we typically don't see you for a month, but I like people to come in about a month so we can reassure them that their hair falling out is completely normal, and to look at their scar. And how many times do people come in and they say nothing's falling out, and it's almost all gone?
95% of the time.
Yeah.
They're like, look, it's like, and it's all gone. It's your other hair that we shaved that's grown back.
Or even if they didn't have it, people think that they have more hair than they do.
Yeah.
And then in 3 months he walked in. I think he was leaving the country for something. He was out visiting his dad, and he wanted to come by. So this is the way he camouflaged his hair. He pulled his hair forward and put a little hairspray on it, and nobody knew that he had it done unless he pulled his hair back. In which case he looked like this. There's really nothing going on underneath there at 3 months, but it'll start. So then last week he'd just gotten back, and he called up Wendy and said he was over at his dad's house, and so he came in at 9 months. Now typically it's a year and a month before you get your final result, and so although I'm more than happy to see people, if it's anything before the final result, it's just explaining to them that it's going to keep going. But he'd already called up, and as you said, he was engaged, and she's happy.
She's happy, he's happy, and he wanted to show us.
Yeah, so come on in.
Yes.
And so that's a pretty good looking hairline. So going against him is he does have a pretty good color contrast between his palish skin and his dark hair, and that'll take care of itself in the next 3 or 4 months. But already that looks significantly better than before. And then here's a close-up of his hairline at 9 months. That does not look like a hair transplant.
Looks very natural.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like the staggered trees that you see when you drive down the road. It does not look like an organized Christmas tree farm. And that is the hallmark of a good hair transplant, is not being able to tell. Yeah. And then he's got a pretty short haircut from behind, and these guys always wonder, can you see a scar? And my average scar winds up roughly 1 millimeter wide on a virgin head, and you just can't see it. And there's no donor depletion, and his nerves have all grown back. He doesn't have any numbness. So, and so when he held his hair up and looking for the scar, and where's the doggone scar? It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, out of 130 a year, we get 120 or better that look like this. Now we get 4 or 5 that the scar is much more easily seen. I just don't know who those 4 or 5 guys are before we get going. But statistically, at this office, you wind up with a good scar. And so we turned him around and did a little video while he was here.
He didn't want to show us his face.
Yeah, he did not want to show his face. I think he does a job that people might recognize him. But here he is, 9 months and a couple of days. Okay, so you just walked in unannounced back at it from the country, and you are 9 months and about 5 days out.
Yes.
So, again, I won't show your face. The back of your head looks great. Wendy, can you show where his scar was? I just took pictures. It's really difficult to see. I'd give that a good B+ or A-. Let me try to zoom in there a little bit. Have you had any problems with your scars? Anybody commented on it?
Nope.
Okay. Now look up at the ceiling, would you? That looks great. And when you run that comb through that hair. So, although it looks good now, just 4 more months, when you're 13 months, it'll look even better. Because it still is, I can still see it's a little thin. Now, so this is at 9 months. That's good hair, but it'll be better hair in 4 or 5 more months. And you made the comment just a minute ago that it is curlier than what you had when you were growing up. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. Has your fiance or anybody, your dad, commented on it? Any friends?
No. Everybody said, people just notice I have a great head of hair.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you didn't tell anybody at work or anything like that?
I did not tell anybody.
All right. Fantastic. I really appreciate you coming.
It looks great. Highly recommend.
Come back in 4 or 5 more months. Marriage and children give you gray hair. And working with difficult employees that drop the comb during the middle of the video, but that's okay.
No,
But he looks awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. He was very happy, and he couldn't wait for the year because he called up and he was like, "Oh, you should see it. It looks great. My fiance likes it," and he wanted to just come and show us.
Yeah. So to summarize, he's going to look better at 13 months than he does now, but he already looks terrific. These results are consistently achievable, but not at every office. It takes attention to detail and lots of little steps done correctly each and every time. So if we can help you out, please give us a call. We'll get you in for a consultation. And we've got lots of videos. There's no reason for you to be an uneducated hair transplant consumer. Look at our videos, look at everybody else's, and educate yourself before you have surgery.
Yeah, I think the key is to ask the right questions, and everything that they tell you, just research it too. Because anybody can say just about anything and promise anything, but then just look for proofs that they're telling you the truth. And I think when you research, you can find
consistent results.
Yeah.
That's the proof. Not 1 or 2 slick videos, but 1,000 cases that have been done.
That it's consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.